Financial Planner. Follow us on YouTube.
And back with us today is Bill Murphy, the chairman of the Gold Antitrust Action Committee. Bill, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Elijah.
All right, now I'd first like to discuss about gold and silver. Now, the gold and silver markets, since the last time we talked, are pretty much flat, maybe down a little bit. Since about mid-October, gold and silver have gone down. What is your perspective on what's happening in the precious metal markets?
Well, you know, the problem is, Elijah, nothing's happening. I mean, the gold cartel, as we call it, has it under full control. No fundamental things that are bullish mean much. All rallies have been sold, and it is the way it is. And compared to other assets, it's creating a very tough situation for investors in the industry, with Bitcoin going bananas and the Dow and Nasdaq, doing so well, and other assets doing well. It's just the frustration level after 6 to 7 years of making highs is taking its toll.
Do you think there will be another price smash coming to flush out the specs?
Well, it can happen at any time. We've seen it so many times over the years, and we know that they're there. The silver open interest still is at extraordinarily high levels, at about 195,000. Back when it didn't, before it made its run up to 50 back in 2000, late 2010, 2011, the open interest was 124, 130,000 contracts. So they're just all over this market.
What is your perspective on the recent price action in the mining stocks?
Yeah, well, that's interesting because they're just dead. I mean, again, interest is going into other assets, and whether gold and silver go up or down, they're not trading with the same kind of volatility they did in the past. And it's just an example of the lack of interest in the sector right now because of what other assets have done. That is going to change, and they're going to make what kind of moves we've been waiting for, and the returns will be extraordinary. But people need to have patience and stay on the case.
Now, I'd like to move to viewers' questions. This first viewer's question is from Jeffrey Morris, and he asks about the late Adrian Douglas's prediction on precious metal prices. Do you think those prices that he predicted are still a possibility? And if so, what kind of situations could trigger an uptrend toward those prices?
Well, I don't recall exactly what Adrian said, and he was certainly a good man. I'm glad your person that's asked the question here remembers Adrian. He was very special. For me, obviously I'm extremely bullish, and these are artificially low prices we have now, and I'm still looking for silver to head towards 100, and for gold to take out its all-time highs and head towards 3,000. Back we had a conference in the Yukon in 2005, and my thinking was back then that gold would go to $3,000 to $5,000 an ounce, and back then it was $450 an ounce.
Now, moving now to this next viewer's question, they're wanting to know your perspective on where you see the gold-silver price ratio going. They're saying that gold and silver come out of the ground at about a ratio of 9 to 1, so 9 ounces of silver for every 1 ounce of gold. So where do you see the gold-silver price ratio going?
Well, silver is the one that they've really got a stranglehold on, and it's really extraordinary considering what other commodity markets have done, like copper and even the Dow and so on. And it's at 76 to 1. It's ridiculous. I don't see any reason it can't go back to 16 to 1, where it used to be a long time ago. Once they lose control of the silver market.
And how likely, this is the next viewer's question, how likely do you think it'll be that governments around the world will confiscate silver in an economic collapse?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, you think about it. I mean, why should that ever occur? Because of silver has got such use in so many different products, and it's a valued component. It doesn't really matter what the price is. People that are producing these things need silver to make them work. So, I mean, and if you think about it, people will look stupid. Why would anybody want to confiscate silver? I mean, who really cares? To be honest with you, outside of the people in our world who know that they're controlling silver because they want to control the gold price.
Right, and I mean, I don't see any reason for governments to do that. What about gold? I mean, I know the U.S. government has nationalized gold in the past, but I mean, it seems like today, not many people own gold. It doesn't seem like it would make any sense for the government to confiscate gold. What is your perspective?
Well, we're saying it makes no sense because, as you said, not that many people are involved in the gold market in the United States, and the rest of the world will then just laugh at us. You know, people all over the world, it's a world market, would just say, thank you very much. We know how important you think gold is to do something like that. So that would be the worst mistake the United States could make.
All right. Now, one of the other things I'd like to discuss today is, the organization that you run, the Gold Antitrust Action Committee, is coming up on its 20th year anniversary. Did you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Chris Powell and I founded GATA 19 years ago, and we've done everything we could to expose and end the manipulation of the gold price, and we're up against the most powerful and rich people in the world, and it's very difficult. The press doesn't want to mention it. Just like recently, this Harvey Weinstein scandal, which was well known, the sex scandal, this movie producer, it was well known by many people for 10, 20 years, but he's involved with such powerful people in the political world and in his industry. The women that he went after didn't say anything or were too afraid to, and understandably so, and if they did say something, nobody would bring it up. That's what GATA has undergone these past years, and one day it's going to be a similar type scandal. So, we've held conferences, we've been all over the world discussing the subject, and it's a very tough one to make headway with because, again, it's against the rich and powerful, and people want to go with the flow.
Right, and getting back to the precious metals markets, coming full circle here, did you want to share with the viewers maybe some price targets you're looking for? I know you've talked about many times in the past that once silver breaks above $21, then it could just go bazonkers after that. It could just go super, super high. What about gold also?
Well, silver's a little easier to quantify. It looks like it needs to be something out there that comes out of the blue that shakes things up that we haven't had an exogenous event in so long. It's hard to remember to something to shake up the markets. And so it's hard to know exactly, what that's going to be. But obviously, if silver is going nuts, gold will be going along with it.
All right. Well, Bill Murphy, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we let you go, are there any last thoughts you'd like to add, and where can our viewers find you online?
Yeah, well, they can get me at themetropolcafe.com and sign up for a 2-week free trial. And Chris Powell has a great email list, and they can go to gata.org to sign up for that. And I just think it's what we're seeing in these cryptocurrencies, with the Bitcoin going over 6,000, for example. At the beginning of the year, gold and Bitcoin were the same price at $12.40. And if gold weren't manipulated, that's the kind of action we ought to be seeing or will be seeing in the gold-silver markets in the years ahead. So this is a time to be accumulating gold and silver, not running away from it, because other assets have already made their moves, and now it's going to be time in the not-too-distant future for gold and silver to catch up.
All right. Once again, Bill Murphy, thank you so much for your time today.
Okay. Thank you, EJ. Bye-bye.